Hi everyone, my name is Arnika. I'm an early childhood educator, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some positive child guidance techniques. There's a lot of techniques out there, and I feel that not all techniques are effective. And I'm going to be sharing with you some techniques that I find very effective throughout my career. And today we're going to be touching on time away, not time out, but time away. Now, when I was growing up, my parents used time out a lot, meaning when I did something silly, my parents would say, go sit at that corner or go sit on that chair for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I just have to sit there. And many times when I'm sitting there, being an artist, I am just daydreaming. My mind just goes off and I can sit there for half a day. It does not bother me. I'm that kind of person. So I do not promote time out because I was not equipped with any tools to solve the problem. I was not given the opportunity to demonstrate that I have figured out what I can do. I have to stay there till my time was up. So when I was young, I felt it was not fair, it was not fun, and it did not help me to build my self-esteem and my self-image at all. I just knew that, you know what, well, might as well. So anyway, so we're going to be promoting time away instead of time out. Now, what time away is, you're also sending the child away for unwanted behavior. But what happened is you're giving the ownership back onto the child. You're letting them know, you know what, I don't want to play with you right now because you are doing this and this and this, and this is how I feel. This is I message. And we're going to be touching on that a little bit later. So you're letting the child know what they're doing, how it affects you, other people, or themselves, and you do not like that sort of behavior. And for them to play with you, they have to have a certain behavior. So you're sending the child away, but you're letting them know when you're ready to come back, you can come back and play any given time. But you need to be demonstrating those behavior. So that's the difference. So you're giving the ownership back onto the child, you're letting the child know when they can come back. So that really promote self-image and also self-esteem. You're letting them know that they are capable, they are able to, as long as they can, they can try and do it. Whereas the other one, you're not even giving them a chance. You're just saying that, you know what, sit there for 5 minutes, sit there for that long. Whereas the other one, you're letting them know that they have the power to come back any given time as long as they can demonstrate those behavior. So how do you communicate that to a child is very important. Let's bring it back to another step. Why you're upset at a child, all right? So even before all this has to happen, and this is normally how I teach my parents, is this. When you are upset at a child, you first have to think, was my communication clear? Because remember, you have to give them a couple of warnings, right? At least two. I personally believe you have to give them at least 2 warnings. But when you do, you have to remember and think, was my communication clear? Because sometimes you think your communication is clear, but it might not be clear to a child. And it really depends the age of the child. If you're speaking to a 1-year-old, your sentence, your message has to be very short and direct. No touch, and that is it. All right. Whereas in a preschooler, you say, please do not touch, and because. You use a lot of I messages, logical consequence, whatever it takes. So the sentence is a little bit longer. So you need to make sure you communicate through very clearly. And the other thing is your expectation realistic? Are you asking the child to do something that they cannot do? And then you get frustrated. So you really have to self-reflect a little bit before you get upset at a child. So once again, you need to make sure that you communicate clearly. Is your expectation realistic before you really approach a child and quote unquote punish a child? And then when you go up to a child, I would encourage all my parents to remain calm. How you approach a child is very important. Your tone of voice, your facial expression, and your body language. Are you coming at them very aggressively? If you're coming at them aggressively, like all animals, we become very defensive. And many times, depending what child you're dealing with. Now, I was a very strong-willed child. And when someone come with me, I do not back down. And that's my personality. Now, if you have that sort of child, you should not go at them very aggressively because they would rebel and would become a power and struggle scenario. And it doesn't end well. So I would encourage the parents, what you do is you need to try your best to remain calm and approach a child very calmly, very softly. If you feel that you cannot remain calm, you need to relax, take a few breaths, or go out of the room and come back when you're ready, and then approach the child. And you need to use iMessages. Now I'm going to talk about that a little bit better later, okay, about iMessages. But basically, you need to approach a child calmly. You need to acknowledge their feelings, because you have to remember, when a child reacts, it's usually because they're reacting to something. They don't just react, they are usually reacting to something. So that's why we need to think about, was my instruction clear? Was my expectation realistic? What had happened that created all this problem? Well, I shouldn't say really problem, but this situation. And then what you need to do is, when you give a child warning, you need to make sure that you're letting them know what unwanted behavior that they're demonstrating and how it affects you, other people, and themselves. And that's called iMessage. So once again, is you need to make sure you tell them what unwanted behavior that they're demonstrating that you do not like, and how it affects you, other people, and themselves. And then you're going to follow up with, this is the behavior that I like and why. All right? If a child do not listen after you give them 1 or 2 warning, that's when you send them away. And when I send them away, what we usually do is we would tell to the child, you know what? I'm a person. I have feelings too, and I'm very hurt because you did this and this and this. And this is how it affects me, other person, and yourself. And therefore, I would not like to play with you right now. I need some alone time away from you. You can come back to me anytime you want, but right now I do not want to play with you. All right? So that is how we normally approach a child. When a child is ready to come back, I normally praise them. I say, you know what? Are you ready to come back to play? Do you know what you need to do? Okay, fine. Let's come back to play. We'll try again. And we will encourage the child. We're very happy. Sometimes we just put on a big show about how happy we are, because when a child is away, you don't know what kind of emotion they're going through. And especially when a child is very young, they are still trying to control themselves, and it's something that is not very easy for them. Now imagine, adults have the same problem, self-regulation, controlling our impulses. Can you imagine a little kids? They're only a couple years old. They have a lot of impulses. They still have yet to learn to master and control. So when they do come back, I usually praise them like there's no tomorrow. And I say that, you know what? I can do this. I can help you. You can try again. Do you remember what you need to do? And you know what? Chances are they're going to make the mistake again in about 10 minutes. And same thing. You're going to do it again, send them away, and ask them to come back. But each time when they come back, I guarantee you it'll be better than the last time. It'll be better than the last time. And the amount of time they're going to be ready to come back will be shorter and shorter and shorter. Now, I urge parents not to give up. You would have some children or child like me, where when you send them time away, they will be away for a long time, all right? Because I was so used to time out. So if your household is used to time out and all of a sudden you're introducing time away, I can guarantee you that your child will actually stay away for a long time. And that's not what we want. We actually want them to come back as soon as possible, because that builds resiliency. They're able to figure out what they need to do. They're putting themselves accountable faster, and they're willing to get back up and try again. So if you have a child who's staying away for a long time, normally what we do in the classroom is we keep checking on them. Are you ready to come back to play? Are you ready to come back to play? I really would like to play with you. Are you ready? Do you remember what you need to do? So we keep encouraging them, following up every minute, every 2 minutes, till the child is ready to come back. And when we come back, of course, a lot of praise. And that's how we usually do time away. I hope it makes make more sense to you guys. So just to wrap it up, just to remember, every time when you approach a child, you need to approach calmly and always think, was my instruction clear? Was my expectation realistic? If they're not clear and realistic, then I would urge you to give a child another chance, or just drop the whole a whole situation, just walk away, because it might not be that important. It might just be a misunderstanding. If it's a misunderstanding, that is another topic that we're going to be talking about. And remember to acknowledge their feeling. It's very important to acknowledge their feeling, because it really helps later on in life, because now you are trying to label an emotion to an action. It really helped them to learn how to self-regulate, so they will understand that when I feel this way, this is what's called, and this is what I can do. You understand, right? So identify, label their emotions. So when they know that when I feel like this is what's called, and this is what I can do to feel better, to get to that green zone, so we call it. And the other thing is, when you talk to a child, use I message to talk to the child. I feel this. When you do this, this is how it affects me, other people, and yourself. Make sure you let them know what their unwanted behavior is, how it affects you, and what your expectation is. So the wanted behavior, so when they would come back to you, what did they need to do to demonstrate that they're ready? And remember to offer a lot of follow-up. If you have children who will not come back to you after 5 minutes, make sure you follow up and give them a lot of encouragement. And then celebrate when they decide to come back like there's no tomorrow. All right? I hope it makes a lot of sense. If you don't understand, or if I'm not clear, please write me a comment, ask me a question. I'll get back to you guys, okay? Bye.